a Kung Fu Cowboy, tennis shoes on my feet. I'm a Kung Fu Cowboy, hamburgers to eat. I'm a Kung Fu Cowboy, trees are my punching bags. I'm a Kung Fu Cowboy, no karate tags. We can share some kicks.
Hello there. You can't fit this thing, and these things, a bass is longer than a guitar. But here's the 4000 Rickenbacker that I was talking about. Figure, well, I'm going to talk about it, and I can show it. Let's show it. So anyway, here it is. This is I love this bass. This bass. Oh, look, I got the whole thing in the frame now. Amazing. This bass is just so. I just love it. I love it. There's some things you get, you love them. I never liked that Fender jazz bass. Sorry, but I never liked it. And even though it had a thin neck and it played fast, for some reason, I just didn't attach to it. And then when I was in the studio, somebody came in and had a red Rickenbacker, and I loved it. And so I borrowed it for a whole bunch of sessions. And my first album, Bonita, was actually, if I didn't hire a bass player, which had Gus Bedouin was his name. Gus Bedouin was a session player, and he played a bunch of bass tracks on the Bonita album. Otherwise, it was me with that borrowed red Rickenbacker. So I was really happy when I got this one. Now, if you can kind of see it, it's actually green. This is actually a green. Well, I take a bath every day, but it's not like I keep everything dust-free and clean. Anyway, it's dark green. It's an avocado green is the best way I can describe it. It's a custom color, and I took it to the Rickenbacker factory 2 or 3 times for repairs and things, and they said it was a custom color, and that the thing that they told me the first time they went in there, they said this was custom built for somebody. They said because of the custom color, and that the guy who built it wasn't there. So when I went in there and I took it back in, we'll say 1974. Or 1975 maybe, they said that whoever had built this in 57 was already gone. He didn't even work there anymore. So they couldn't ask him who he built it for or what the deal was on it. They didn't know for some reason. You know, back in those days, it's all paper. And maybe somebody could have opened a box in a storage unit and figured it out. But no, they didn't know. Anyway, so now it actually had, here's the pickup I was talking about. This is the original, I think the housing is the original housing, but the pickups went over. I'm pretty sure that this is the same, but somehow the original pickups went over here instead of this one that they inserted inside here. If you can see it in there. Okay, so anyway, that's the more modern pickup that they inserted to replace the original one that had the magnets that went over the strings with a space in between. Now, they thought that was such a collector's item, because you just don't see those things, that they had it in a glass case at Freedom Guitar. When you walked into the store, there was a plexiglass little glass case, and inside that was my pickup. Anyway, now there's actually a white pick guard on here, but it was already turning yellow and it had some cracks in it from just aging, from the older plastics. Probably weren't as more cellulose and weren't as, anyway, whatever it was cracking, and so I replaced it. Now, nobody's ever given me compliments on this, but I think I did the most amazing thing, which I've never seen anybody else do. This is actually a mirror pick guard. See, if you look at it, it's a mirror. It's a smoked mirror. So it's got a tint in the mirror. This whole pickguard is a smoked mirror. I've never seen another guitar with this. And I always thought it was the greatest idea. And I've always loved that, I think this just makes this bass so awesome. It kind of blends in with everything. But anyway, it's actually a smoked mirror pickguard, which I cut. I traced out the original one, and then I shaped the edges and filed them or whatever, and installed this and replaced it. Okay, so what else? Now, unfortunately, like I said, this is an old one, and there's all kinds of other things I could talk about the way they changed it. This is a 4000 model. Then it went to the 4001, and now they're on the 4003. So they kept changing them, and they've even gone stereo. But this is pre-stereo days. Stereo didn't even exist when they made this. But anyway, the bridge, I was having so many problems with the toning. It's like they didn't build the bass right. I hate to say it that way, but I think that's kind of true. If you measure the distance between the nut and the 12th fret, that distance should be the same as it is over here. But it wasn't. And as you can see, I'm still even leaning the saddles back to get it as far back so I can get that right measurement. And so what I had to do is I had to take this whole bass off, and I actually dug it out. I had to router it out and move it back. And so that left a gap here, and you can kind of see some ugly green stuff in there that I crammed in there, whatever that is. I don't know. That was a long time ago. It was probably wood putty, green wood putty. But I don't think I did that great a job, but that's what it is. I had to move the thing back and carve it out, to move it back. But that's what I had to do to make it work properly. And So, in fact, now I've got to reset the neck. The neck's kind of got a bow on it, and I can re-level it, and I bought all the equipment to do that. And so I'm kind of anxious to give the whole bass an overhaul. And that'll be some videos that might get lots of views. But I will do a complete overhaul on this and a fret job, and I'm looking forward to that. So those are going to be some videos in the future. All right. So is there anything else I was going to say about that? But that's it. That's the most amazing. Well, maybe I should show you the whole thing. So let's just get a close look at the whole bass real fast, since we're here. Okay, so you can see the neck up here. In fact, there's even kind of a split in one of the woods I thought I saw somewhere. And I was starting to think, oh, it's so fragile, it's falling apart. But I'm not going to tour with this or perform on stage anymore with this. I'm going to buy another Rickenbacker and just keep this guy for home recording, because I'll always love the sound. So anyway, there's the head. Both sides, back of the neck. Oh, you can see how those are belt buckles, scratching off this. That's why that's all gone. And then here's the front. Show you this. Go around. Take a look. It's got this binding on it, which is an extra feature. They actually have to carve out a little bit of the wood and then put this beautiful strip on the edge of it, which is all yellow too. That was probably white. It's all yellow. It's all aged. All the way around here. So I love that. I really love this bass. I mean, I have no desire to have another bass. We'll get to that in another. But anyway, here's the bass. This is the 4000 Rickenbacker, and I love it. Okay. Figure since I'm going to talk about it, might as well at least show it to you. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Didn't show it to you. Anyway, this is how I tuned my bass and my guitars for, even in the 90s. So during the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and whenever I just didn't want to use a tuner and I just happened to have this handy, I'd use this. But for more than 40 years, I've got one of these in each of my guitar cases. And what it is, it's a tuning fork. And that's what it is. Each of these is ground, to a certain a certain amount of metal creates a certain tone when you hit it on something. So this thing's been ground down to be exactly an A tune. You're not supposed to bang it on hard stuff, because they're supposed to, if you dent them and stuff like that, it'll ruin them. They'll actually lose a little metal, or if it gets condensed, it might change the toning. So you're supposed to hit them on something kind of more soft, like a knee, down here where the microphone is. Okay, let me do it again. Now watch what happens. I'm going to touch it. Here's what happens when I do it. When I actually do it, I hit it on something, okay? And then I put it on my bass, and the bass resonates, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll find out. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to hit it, and now I'm going to put it over here on the microphone, or on the... I put it on the frame that's around the microphone. Did you hear that? So in other words, this is what you do, is you touch the bottom end to your guitar, and you see, then it resonates that tune, and then you tune to it. So this is how I tuned for many, many decades, and probably still will when I need it. Now I got all kinds of tuners around, but I haven't used it in a few years. So I was kind of excited when I saw that the other day. Tuning fork. They really exist. They really work. And yeah, that's all there is to it. They're great. Okay, now, I left you on the bass stories. We're talking about my bass story. I was trying to get to Tim Bogert. All right, we're already at almost 10 minutes. Okay, let's see if we can get to Tim Bogert real fast. But where'd we leave off? Okay, I got that bass in the mid-70s, maybe towards the late 70s. And then I was a session bass player, so I tend to focus. When I came here, I was a bass player in the band, and acoustic. I played acoustic and bass. Oh, sorry. But when I was in San Diego, before I left, because I had the bass before I left, we had two songs in which we played double bass, because I always had my bass, and I'd bring my bass to rehearsals anyway, because I love to play bass and jam and stuff. So we wrote two songs so that every show we did in San Diego during those last 1 or 2 years I was in San Diego, we played these songs. One of them was called Starliner, I'm pretty sure it was a Starliner by Montrose, which is an instrumental song. And it was just really easy to add the double bass to. So the regular bass player would play his part, and then I'd play a treble part. In fact, I actually had a couple of tricks I'd use on my amplifier so that I could even actually put a little fuzz on it by hitting a treble boost on my amp. So I'd really stand out and sound more like a fuzz guitar, but really low, really low register. And so the bass player would be don-to-don, and I'd be and I'd be playing these other things, and we'd harmonize together. It was just so wonderful. As far as I know, we maybe have been the first band to ever have two bass players in it, but those songs were just, everybody just thought they were remarkable. But anyway, they were Starliner, and then I wrote a song that we played double bass to, and it was called Whore, W-H-O-R-E. I know. But that was the name of the song. It fit into one of my rock operas somehow. That was the name of the song. It was an instrumental, so it's not like I had to tell any stories. And I don't know how I got inspired to put that name on it, but that's it. I have to leave it at that for now. But anyway, we'd do those two songs, and they were just amazing. We'd do one song and then the other, so since I was set up, and they were just really fun to play, and they sounded so awesome. Two bass players performing live right in front of you. With the amp that's way over there, my plush amp. Oh, got stories about that. We're at 11 minutes and I still haven't got the Tim Bogert. Okay, where are we? Okay, so I leave San Diego. I got my Ricky bass. I've got my plush amp. And I come up here. I actually get another cabinet. I get a 2-folded 15-horn cabinet. So it just really pushes. Like I told you about that SVT bass that was made by Ampeg. The only other bass amp that I've ever liked more is mine, my 215s. And I blew the speakers on them, so I put JBLs in there, and oh man, now it's just the most amazing. Anytime I'm in a nightclub, you're going to love the sound of the bass. I fill up that room with just the most pleasant. I think of it as a sensual feeling. It's not like rap music now where it feels like somebody's punching you. It's not like that. It's more like, no, it's not even that. It's more, or my bass playing is supposed to soothe you. It's supposed to be more sensual and erotic and smooth, and just doesn't have that clunk to it. It's not. Yeah, modern. I don't like modern bass. I would say that most songs are just. I don't want to get negative. Okay, here we go. So I got my 215 cabinet, and then I got two 412 cabinets. So the way we used to perform in the Rich, although we didn't always bring all these speakers because we couldn't fit them in the nightclub, was I would have the 215 cabinet, which would project this amazing sound, but it would have to have 15 to 20 feet in depth, or you couldn't really hear it. Because it would create such a big waveform that it couldn't fit in a room. So you'd have to be in a bigger room. And if you were in a bigger room that was at least 20 or 25 feet deep, you'd get this immense, just lovely bass sound. And otherwise, I got my 412 cabinet with 12-inch speakers. And that gives you that punchy sound, which sounds good at a shorter distance. Didn't have to project like my big folded horn cabinet, as they call it, because it kind of bounces the sound behind also and projects out the middle. So, as well as the speakers facing forward. It's a great cabinet. I can't wait to play it for you. Show it to you later. But anyway, okay, so I'm up there. Oh, yeah, like I said, we would perform. I got some pictures of it I can maybe show you of our rehearsal room. And I got the 215 cabinet in one side of the room. And then I got two plush cabinets. Remember, these are plush. They're tuck and roll, black tuck and roll. And there's 412s in one, 412s in the other. And I used to have another Cerwin Vega head. And so I'd have two Cerwin Vega heads. We're talking about 240 watts RMS, 500 watts peak. I mean, these are the most, you don't want anything bigger than this because the tubes just get so hot anyway. That's like max. That's the maximum you really want to go. So anyway, whatever it is, however many SL6s or GL6, whatever they are, the speakers in there, the tubes I haven't replaced in a long time. Anyway, whatever those are, I have the two amps. And I had a switcher and I could go between them and I could do this. And anyway, man, I had the most amazing bass sound. Just amazing. Amazing. It was just so beautiful to be in the room with me and my band. Okay. Gonna get romantic here. Okay, where are we? Okay, so that's the Rich, R-I-C-H, the poor worst name in the world for a band. I wish we wouldn't use that. We needed something better. It just doesn't. Anyway. It's like saying, oh, what's your band? Oh, we were the who? The Rich. Anyway, innocuous name. I really regret that. But anyway. I call all of my bands from Bonita I'm at 15 minutes already. I still haven't got Tim Bogert. All of my bands from 1974 to 90, I call all of those bands the Rich, even though it's the Coyote Graveyard Rock Opera, the Rich, and the Bonita Band. And we were called the G Street Band because we were rehearsing in a rehearsal room in G Street in downtown San Diego before we left for Los Angeles. But I call all of them the Rich because they were all just players, coming and going, and they didn't have enough to, anyway, rather than having 10 different band names, I just call them all the Rich is what I do. So, I'm at 15 minutes. Okay, didn't get the Tim Bogert again. Sheesh. Okay, well, how far can I get? Can I get a little farther now? So I come up to LA. I'm playing the Rich. I just told you my setup. I got 8 12-inch speakers on one side, 2 15 on the others. I got my bass in the middle. I'm singing the lead vocals, writing all 90% of the songs, if not 100%. But back then, I used to let other people write a song, and then I'd turn it into a better song, of course. And sometimes they just have a riff, and I'd write some lyrics. And then sometimes they'd have some lyrics, like the drummer, where he wrote this love song poem. And so, I'll put it to music. So we got a co-written song, which he wrote the lyrics, and I wrote the music. And then there's another song we did in the Rich, in which the guitar player and the drummer had written before I met them. They were in another band. And so I finished it by putting writing the lyrics to it, and that created a song that we all 3 co-wrote. I was thinking about that the other day. And I really wish that I owed my bandmates some money. I mean, I'm the record company and the music publishing company and everything. And I've seen both those guys since then. I was hanging out with the guitar player, Vinnie Loria, in 2015 at a film festival. And I hooked up with Bill Stewart about 10 years ago, and he got the album online. He was all excited to get the album. I told him I copyrighted it and everything, and even I made separate copyrights for the songs that we co-wrote. So I'm more than happy to give him the money as soon as I got any money, but I'm not making any money. So got nothing to share, nothing to owe anybody. Sue me. I don't have anything. Can't even afford an attorney. But anyway, so there's nothing to share. There's nothing to get. But I'm hoping there is. I'd like there to be money, and I'd like to be able to pay these guys some money, whatever the rate would be, for their percentage of that album sale that they wrote and did something. I don't know. I wish that I had money that people wanted. Weird blessing in life to be so poor nobody cares about you. Okay, where were we? Well, we're way past my 15-minute mark. Where am I going to leave this in terms of the bass player? Oh, yeah. And then so I moved up there. I'm playing in my band. We're all living together. We were like the Monkees, the drummer, me, the bass player, the guitar player. We all lived together in Venice. And we were right down the street from the V13, the Venice 13 gang. There's like the Crips and the Bloods and all these bands. Well, the V13 was very, very powerful back in the 70s and the 80s. And we were just a few houses away from them. So I got a few stories about them. But basically, when we would rehearse, all the neighbors in Venice, Mexican neighborhood, they would all bring their lawn chairs out and they'd put them all around our house. And then when we would play, they would just sit out there and listen to the concert, because that's what we'd do. We'd perform our gig. We'd sometimes be learning a song, and then boom, we'd perform our show. And the way that we rehearsed, and I was kind of the leader of the band, but the drummer was very pushy, so he was kind of a semi-leader too. But anyway, we would perform our show, and we would perform the best show in the world, which brings me to a quote that I'm going to share with you. Joe Walsh, his band was the James Gang before he joined the Eagles. And the manager of the James Gang, whose name I can't remember, I might have it written down somewhere, he worked for the Village Recorder when I was there. And so we became friends, because I was there for, like I told you, a couple of years. And he gave me some advice. When he kind of took me under his wing a couple of times and talked to me and was very friendly. And he said that the way he ran James Gang, when he was managing them, he told them, when you're in rehearsal, play like it's the performance of your life. And when you're on stage, treat it like a rehearsal. And whether that was good advice or not, I got to confess, I actually have lived by that motto for since then. So, I don't know, 50 years, 40 years, I've actually kind of like held to that a bit. So in other words, when we performed in a rehearsal, we always made it so incredible, that it's like, oh man, I wish some more people would have seen this. I wish we could have videoed it. I wish we could have recorded it. We'd do the most amazing performances in our rehearsal room. And then we'd go on stage, and then it was just a matter of trying to have fun, and really just thinking it more of as like a rehearsal, although, to be honest with you, it was still professional and everything. but still, that quality of not being stressed out for the gig as much as the rehearsal was something that I've always kept with me my entire lifetime. So I'm passing that on, whether it's good or bad. You decide how it works for you. In other words, a performance is a rehearsal, and a rehearsal is a performance. All right, I'll leave you at that. We're almost 20 minutes. There it is.
Penny of your place, son. Oh, you're so gracious. God be with you. Some food or lodging, won't you? Share a bed. I'm a minstrel. I'll play for you. Jesus, why have you left me too? Rabbits and lepers, share my reservation. Sleeping on the roadside, lost on my vacation. From town to village, I don't carry no map. Where I'm to next, don't even bother to ask. I've worked some in my day, but the wages were much too small. I live a free life by the beggars. Live by the beggar's cord. Live by the beggar's cord. Wolves and bandits through the road. Kings and the wealthy on the land. Those who work on till the end are all slaves to the ruling hand. I pay no taxes, I beg for bread. I poach the king's idea. I have no country, I answer to none. My life I play by. Let me hear you beggars call. Do ya? Hammer, yeah man. I share with you, you share with me. Do ya? Hammer, yeah man. I share with you, you share with me. Do ya? Hammer, yeah man. I share with you, you share with me. Do ya? Hammer, yeah man. I share with you, you share with me. Live by the beggar's cord. Live by the beggar's cord. I've worked some in my day, but the wages were much too small. I live a free life by the beggars.